So yes, my title is Beware of Her. And I want to be clear, this is not a speech about my wife. No, it's about the influence a story can have on you. You see, a story can make you scared. A story can make you angry. A story can even make you cruel. Let me show you by telling you about the wickedest witch you could ever imagine. Her name, Annie Palmer. In the 1800s, she practiced dark magic on the beautiful island of Jamaica. She lived in a huge mansion called Rose Hall, where she murdered 3 innocent men. While her first husband was sleeping, she poured boiling oil into his ear, scalding his skull. While her second husband was sleeping, she stabbed him until his bed turned red. And while her third husband was sleeping, by the way, I don't know how he felt safe enough to sleep, she strangled him to death. That's why she's known as the Wicked Witch of Rose Hall. So gentlemen, anyone up for being Annie's 4th husband? Ladies, anyone want to nominate their man? Fiona was thinking about it. To this day, her evil spirit still haunts those halls. So last year, when Emma and I went to Jamaica, we thought it'd be a good idea to go there at night. Yeah. We arrived at dusk, and our tour guide is waiting outside. A big, bald guy. Yeah, looking at him was like looking into my future. And the first thing he says to me is, boy, tonight, you're gonna die. And I'm like, what? And then he says, Annie's favorite color is red. And I was wearing this. And then he says, you know, Annie is looking for a 4th husband. And at this point, I look at Emma for some protection, and then she looks at the guide and says, Annie can have him. We follow our guide up a fire-lit path that leads to the front of her mansion. And as this huge haunted house stares us down, I see it. In the highest window, a flicker of movement. Someone wearing red. I say to the guide, is anyone in the house? And he says, no, it's just us here tonight. Definitely not creepy. We enter the dark house, and our guide lights a candle. We go upstairs to the bedrooms. The door creaks open, and we see the bed that the husband's never left. Then, as cold shivers rush through, our guide says, okay, we're going into Annie's bedroom. The door creaks open, and I see a room with blood-red walls, a 4-poster bed with ghost-like curtains, and a big black wardrobe. Our guide says, psst, come here. I approach the wardrobe. And then he says, look what's engraved here. It reads, ah! Yeah, I'm sorry. But an actress wearing a red dress jumps out screaming. Now, I did not scream. I definitely did not jump into Emma's arms. And I 100% did not cry. The guide and Emma might tell you differently, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is we got out of that house alive. Once the fear of Annie Palmer had dissipated, Emma asked, is her story true? So she looked it up. And that's when things got seriously scary.
It turns out Annie Palmer had one husband, not three. And he died of natural causes. The whole thing was fake, which made me feel like an idiot for crying. But it got me thinking. Every day we hear stories. On TV, online, from friends, from family. And these stories, they shape how we think, how we feel, and how we treat others. Yet how often do we share a story without knowing if it's true? You see, it can be very cruel when an untrue story is shared, because it can grow and grow and grow until you get Annie Palmer, a woman who, by all historical accounts, murdered no one. Yet she is known as the Wicked Witch. Want to know who the real Wicked Witch is? Misinformation. Beware of her. She will make you scared. She will make you angry. She can even make you cruel. So the next time you hear a story, before you share it, check it. Because finding the truth is what will defeat the real Wicked Witch. Back to you.